Hey everyone, Dan at Oilcloth Bushcraft. Well, if you guys remember last year, I did a couple videos on the Esee Junglas and then later on the Esee Junglas 2. What I was doing was I was searching for me what would be the perfect large survival knife. If I were going into a wilderness survival situation and could carry only one large survival knife, which one would I choose? And my search began with the Esee Junglas. Up to that time, it was the most favorite that I had ever used. Just absolutely loved using it. Several of you guys in the comment section said, hey, if you like the Junglas, try the Junglas 2. And I did, and you guys were right. I ended up liking the Junglas 2 even better. It was still an amazing chopper, but the smaller size made it easier to carve with and use for knife-oriented tasks as well as chopping. So I did some upgrades, as you saw on my Junglas 2 videos. Had a nice custom leather sheath made for it, pocket on the front to carry my ferro rod and some fat wood in. Also put on custom G10 handles from the knife connection, which have a real nice palm swell in them. Feels great in my hand. Well, the one thing that was keeping this knife from being, for me, the perfect survival knife was its inability to make fire. And what I mean by that is the Esee Junglas and Junglas 2 come with a black coating, and they don't have a 90-degree spine. So you cannot strike a ferro rod with it. You cannot make shavings with it. Well, that problem has been resolved. I sent my Junglas 2 up to Mark at Sagebrush Customs, and Mark took the black coating off, put on a very nice patina for me. So the blade is still protected, but that thick black coating is gone, and it now has a very nice 90-degree spine, which will both make shavings and strike a ferro rod. So the things I could not do before, like making some fine shavings off of a piece of fat wood, are now tasks that I can easily do with my Junglas 2, something I would definitely want to be able to use it for out in the wilderness. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yeah, look at those fine shavings. Don't want to lose them. I'm going to strike them here for you guys. So now I can get some fine shavings off of a piece of fat wood like this, and I can now strike my ferro rod. So that's the way I can do this. There we go. Look at that. Now I have a large chopper, self-defense. You've seen me carve notches with this, and it makes fire. My perfect survival knife, again for me, my taste, has now become even more perfect. And you know what, I couldn't be happier. And if you want any custom work done on a knife like this, Mark up at Sagebrush Customs does a fantastic job. So as I said, guys, I am just happy as can be. Really liking this. Having him trick out a few more knives, which I'll show you in future videos. But for now, we're going to move on to something else. I have wanted for a very, very long time a nice canvas oilcloth tarp that I could use next to a fire safely. Bushcraft is about having fun. You know, that's probably the best definition of bushcraft, is having fun out here in the wilderness, doing the things you enjoy, whether it be, you know, sitting down and carving out a bow drill and making a bow drill fire and blowing that coal into flames, you know, I love it. Or setting up traditional shelters, whatever is fun for you. And so someone might say, hey, canvas, tarp, those things are heavy. Yeah, it weighs 6 pounds. But you know what? The fun I'm having with it greatly outweighs the weight of the tarp. So I purchased me an 8-foot by 8-foot oilcloth canvas tarp from Coal Cracker Bushcraft. Gentleman who runs that is also named Dan, and he makes the tarps there himself. And I've got it here inside my pack. I'm going to grab it for you guys. Plenty of room to carry this in my pack. I also got all my food and wool blanket and other bushcraft items I like to have. But 8-foot by 8-foot oilcloth canvas tarp. It has loops sewn all around the outside so you can set it up in a wide variety of configurations. And it has a row of loops right along the back as well. Here and on down. So you can run a ridge line down the middle, all around the outside. You got plenty of attachment points, places to stake it down, whatever you want. And again, the cool thing about this is that you can, and something that I love to do, build nice big fires out in a storm, in the rain or snow, have your fire right in front, and the embers that might come down and would normally melt a small pinhole in your nylon tarp aren't going to have any effect on this. I had the chance to try this during our last big rain before the summer heat started coming, with a roaring fire in front, and it was very nice. I stayed dry. The heat from the fire came in. Some of the embers naturally made their way onto the tarp to no ill effects whatsoever. So I'm going to do a couple videos for you guys over the next few weeks or possibly month, and show some different ways to set this oilcloth tarp up. Now, fire season is arriving, so I'm not going to be able to do any fires till probably September. So I will show you guys ways to set this up where I would put a fire in front of it. I will show you some ways to set it up where it's not meant to be used with a fire, but just as its own protective source. And when September comes and where you start getting some fall rains and whatnot again, and there's no longer a fire season, we'll use one of the configurations, set this up, get a big fire going in front of it, and show you how it works. So let me move you guys over here by a tree. Last year I did a video using a 7-foot by 10 AquaQuest Defender tarp, showing you my favorite emergency tarp setup without a fire. Just using a tree, sets up real quick, makes like a pyramid tent. Already tried it out once with this canvas tarp, and as you'll see, it's fantastic. It's a really, really nice shelter. And for the summer, where you can't have fires, but it's still getting cool out here at night, it's still getting chilly, it makes a nice canvas tent. So let me move you guys over here and get this going. Okay guys, I have got small pine tree right here in front of me, and this shelter actually works best with a smaller tree like this rather than a big tree. Got a piece of bank line here, and all I'm going to do, the tarp is square, so there is no long and short end to worry about like there was when I did the 7 by 10. Grab Middle of the tarp, middle loop on the outside of the tarp, right here. And just with a couple overhand knots, I'm going to tie this to this pine tree. And at about, anywhere from waist to chest, right in here is an ideal height. That will allow you to sit down inside and not hit your head, but give you lots of place, lots of room to stretch out behind. So just a couple overhand knots, piece of bank line, parachute cord, whatever you got, will work just fine. And get it tight enough to where it's not going to slide up and down the tree. Okay, now I'm going to take the back two corners and I'm going to stretch them out as far as they'll go, and I'm going to stake each one down. Other side. Okay. Back two corners are staked down as far back as they will go. And now I'm going to take the front two corners right here and I'm going to stake them down as well. I'm going to drop this down a little bit. I want you guys to be able to see this shelter as it begins to open up. So bear with me just a second. Okay, that should be good there. You guys should be able to see inside. So as this starts to open up, you can see. So I'm going to stake down this corner, front corner, and the other front corner. Pull that up tight. Okay, and this side. Okay. You guys can see that. So basically, it looks kind of like a canvas tent. I can stretch out in there really nice, which I will do here in just a minute for you guys. But there's a little trick to get even more room inside this tent, and this is not my own invention, this particular hack. I saw Dan do at Coalcraft or Bushcraft with this tarp on a different tarp setup, but I've carried it over and been using it on my other setups. So I'm going to pause you guys one more time, move around to the back here, and show you a little trick that you can use anytime you set this canvas tarp up to get more room. Okay, I'm going to take a large toggle and attach it to this middle loop up there with some cordage. And you can do it pretty much any way you want. I'll just make a loop like I do with the little doubled over into a knot, like so, and then I'll pull that through the middle loop on my tarp and just toggle this on the other side, like so. Okay. Now, you just need 2 poles for a bipod. I'm going to wrap this around the outside. And then I'm going to open these up. And then I'm going to take my cordage and I'm going to run it underneath this first pole. Sorry about that. I'm going to run it over the top. Over the top and down. I was doing that backwards, sorry guys. I'm actually going to start over here. I know I'm a little far away, so I hope you guys can see this in the video. Maybe if I bring you up here. I don't have the editing equipment I've shared with you guys before to do this proper. So I just kind of have to move you around. Okay, let's try that. All right, just 2 poles, make a simple bipod, and I'm gonna wrap my cordage around, actually this side. I wanna make sure you guys can see it. So I'm gonna come around this side here. See how that pulls my tarp up? And around here. And once I get it around here, on the other side, I'm going to open these up. And I'm going to take this cordage and I'm going to run it underneath and back over the top. And then I'm going to take this down to the ground and I'm going to stake it down. And for now, I'm not going to get fancy. I'm just going to make a couple loops around here. Tap that down. There we go. So this little bipod is now pulling my tarp up. And as you're about to see, is going to give me a lot of room inside there. Bear with me one more time while I move, you guys. Okay. Make sure. Yeah, you should be able to see that. All right. So I have got room to stretch out this way. My feet are all the way back and I still have room behind them. I've got room, plenty of room over my head out front. I've got room for my backpack. There's actually plenty of room for 2 people to set up 2 sleeping bags on pads side by side and still drag a backpack or 2 in here as well. So it's a very, very nice, easy to make setup. Now, in the next video, I'm going to show you guys this very same setup, but instead of a tree, we're going to do another bipod out in front so that all this space here in front of the tent is open. I'm going to show you how to set that up, how to stake down the front so that you can put a fire right out here in front and fill that up with heat from a fire. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned some things. Hope you like seeing the new changes I made to my Esee Junglas 2. And guys, I just want to make this one point. When you're doing bushcraft, make it fun. You know, some people get caught up in, hey, you know, this weighs too much or this is too big or whatever. And maybe if you're, you know, you're building a bug out bag or get home bag, then you want to worry about weight and different things like that. But when you're just out doing bushcraft, I think your #1 priority should be to have fun and do the things that you enjoy most. So if you enjoy doing a traditional canvas tarp like I am, you won't mind the extra 6 pounds at all. Thanks for watching and take care.